Love knows no boundaries, not even the thin blue line. Today we'll show you how female cops outright seduced inmates. And we'll tell you right off the bat, it did not end well for everyone.
Cutting a hole in your pants to make it easier to have sex with an inmate and having intercourse in full view of 11 other inmates is something only a depraved mind can come up with.
The first one you're gonna see is just insane.
You should always want to be in some kind of good shape, you know, at least for your, you know, your spouse or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, my mom was always like that.
The phone conversation between the inmate and the guard has already gone viral, sparking widespread outrage due to its obscene and disturbing nature. However, we'll let you be the judge for yourself. Number 1. Charlene O'Banion and Jacob Parker. The 33-year-old female guard had sex with a 28-year-old male inmate in custody while she was an employee of the Conroe Montgomery County Jail. Authorities said they were alerted to what happened on December 17, 2021, after O'Banion and Parker were overheard during a conversation in which they discussed their sexual activity. However, some of the most shocking stuff came out during the woman's interrogation, so let's look at different parts of the story together.
We were notified of a possible improper relationship between you and Jacob Parker.
Although the policeman already knew the entire truth, O'Banion tells a completely different story at the beginning.
From what I'm listening to on the calls, I take it as that you've given him oral sex at some point, is what I gathered from these calls.
No, that was like in the world, but we never dated.
Now, apparently, out of pure jealousy, someone snitched on her that she was having an affair, but she maintains all along that she had no sexual relations.
So, but again, I never spoke to him or anything like that.
However, the woman does not yet know that the police officers have tapes that are gonna humiliate her in front of everyone and reveal her dark secret.
And there's jail calls between you and Parker, and all that stuff's recorded. So, I don't think you're being completely truthful.
Upon hearing that the investigators might know something, she starts to panic and changes her testimony that they knew each other in the past, a few years ago.
I guess a few years ago, we talked, and then I ended up here, and then he ended up here. I didn't know he was here.
What doesn't change, though, is that the guard strongly denies that she became close to the inmate. And yet, there's nothing wrong with the fact that they knew each other before he went to prison.
So y'all kind of talking in a sexual nature
No.
now that he's here?
Oh, no. Now that he's here, no.
As we find out later, they were really close before Parker was convicted. Certainly, it can't be considered as just being friends.
You gave him oral sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was before, like, I knew he would end up here, or that I would end up here, or anything like that.
Well, we're already getting closer and closer to discovering the truth here, and the Guardian is getting more and more lost in her story.
So initially you said you kind of like played it off like you hardly knew him.
Until the detective simply crushes her with the evidence that they've gathered.
I just looked in the system, there's like almost 400 calls. So, between y'all.
Now we come to the icing on the cake, the recording of the phone conversation between O'Banion and Parker. We just warn you that some may get sick listening to this, so hold on tight. It's a bumpy road.
Hey, baby.
Baby. This crazy, baby.
It's just like you.
Yeah?
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to get more and more awkward with every second of this tape.
I don't know, you probably got this weird sex swing hanging from the ceiling. Kenneth probably thinks it's a swing set.
Oh, if I had that sex swing, you better believe I'd dig that sucker up for you.
Would you really?
Hell yeah!
You can see on the woman's face just how embarrassed she is by what she hears, but she can no longer stop it.
I just want you to look at me sometimes and be like, damn, my woman's fine.
Fine as wine. Super.
Oh, God.
You are fine, baby. You are fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So far, we've only heard tender words, but now we're getting to the real evidence that the detectives were most concerned about.
And you got a live-ass fucking head game. Oh, my God.
It wasn't my best moments. I was just trying to Get it done.
And that's not all, because the call is heading in a really disturbing direction.
Don't even get me thinking about that because it makes me so horny. Like, just going back and thinking about
Yeah.
that.
It gets you horny?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you felt me. I was, like, soaking through my clothes.
At the end, we even heard some pretty powerful words, which we didn't expect in this kind of a situation.
I'm choking over here.
I love you.
I love you, baby. You're my favorite.
Despite what we've just heard, she still does not admit her guilt, even though the entire situation is already pretty clear to everybody who's listened to the recordings, and there's no doubt about what she did.
You kind of see how that sounds from like my point of view, like a more recent thing than 3 years ago.
I've given him a blowjob before, and that's what he was.
And it was not in the jail.
No.
Slowly, however, her narrative is changing. Now she believes that she may have felt something for him, but she never crossed the line.
Like, obviously there's something going on between us. Like, do you mean, like what do I need to tell you? Like, there's something going on between us.
But we're not really interested in whether they really loved each other or not. The most important thing is whether she really did what was said in the recording or not.
I
What
need
are
to
you
know
gonna hear?
if y'all had sexual contact inside of this jail.
No.
Is what I'm trying to find out.
No.
None at all. Anywhere.
The police are fed up with the woman's lies. How long can she avoid answering when the evidence clearly shows what happened?
So my advice to you right now is to be honest with us. Have y'all had any inappropriate contact, whether it's groping, blowjobs, vaginal, anal sex, anything, hand jobs? Yes, I am being vulgar to get a point across.
Finally, there's a turning point, and O'Banion breaks and begins to tell the whole truth.
I might have given him a blowjob in that part.
In back part of the quad? How long ago was that?
A few months ago.
A few months ago?
Whether we like it or not, the policeman must now find out all the details of how, where, and what kind of intercourse occurred between the two. But I guess that's what we're all here for, right?
Can you kind of go into detail of exactly like what and how it happened?
Yeah, he was going to push cleanup into 1516, and I needed to roll the doors open, so you can go in. So I had the key to unlock, that little picket area so that you can roll.
Mm.
And we were walking back there, and he leaned in to kiss me, and he just whipped it out.
Now let's delve into some more details.
What do you mean by blowjob?
I put his dick in my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did he ejaculate?
No.
Only now, after all of this, is the woman worried about her future. Why wasn't she worried when she did all of these disgusting things before?
I'm gonna ask, but I feel like I know the answer. I'm losing my job.
So that's not really up to me. Internal Affairs is aware of the allegation,
It seems like in her situation, punishment is inevitable.
but I will be talking to him about everything.
What kind of charges? Like,
So it's illegal to have sexual contact with an inmate as an employee. So I said the ball kind of be in their court, but I'll let you know as soon as I hear something.
Maybe even the worst one out of all, given the circumstances.
would I go to jail?
That's up to the DA's office.
Ultimately, O'Banion pleaded guilty to inappropriate sexual activity with a person in custody and was sentenced to 100 days in prison. If you think this story was wild, we've got a few better ones lined up for you. But before that, I'd like to take the opportunity to kindly remind you to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And now, back on topic. Number 2, Kawana Jenkins. Out of all the men in Atlanta, Kawana chose the one who was an inmate in the very prison where she worked. The 36-year-old former officer found herself facing charges of 5 counts of violating her oath as a public officer and 2 counts of improper sexual contact by an agent or employee. However, what truly astounded everyone in this case was the leaked video, which ultimately tarnished the officer's reputation. Authorities revealed that she maintained a long-term inappropriate relationship with the inmate, going as far as supplying him with a contraband cell phone. This very cell phone was discovered in the man's cell and contained the highly controversial video, but don't just take our word for it. See for yourself. In the footage, we can see Jenkins sitting on a chair in her service uniform. Then, the finger of a man identified as one of the convicts approaches her mouth. At the same time, the woman performs a sexual act using the man's finger. That's where the video ends, but as we take a closer look, we can get a few more details. From an analysis of the surroundings, it can be deduced that the entire thing takes place in the woman's office, and she should be on duty at the time. What's more, if you listen carefully, you can hear her saying, "Make sure you bring a condom so you won't come quick."
Can you bring the condoms so that you won't come fast?
Now, one thing is certain, the woman has just destroyed her entire reputation and future. But if you think this was the most foolish behavior you've seen in a long time, then you need to see number 3 on our list. Speaking of, number 3, Tina Gonzalez. The woman's superiors literally said that they'd seen a lot in their lives, but nothing as sickening as what this former police officer did. This female California corrections officer has been jailed for reportedly having sex with an inmate, get this y'all, in full view of 11 other jailbirds. Okay, Tina Gonzalez, 26, even cut a hole in her uniform pants to make it easier to have intercourse in Fresno County Jail.
Cutting a hole in your pants to make it easier to have sex with an inmate and having intercourse in full view of 11 other inmates is something only a depraved mind can come up with.
As if that wasn't enough, Gonzalez supplied the same inmate with razors, a cell phone, and advance warnings when his cell was going to be searched.
At times communicated sensitive information to the inmate about individuals that were entering the inmate's pod, as well as times and places or times when the pod would be searched.
In court, her previous supervisor, Assistant Sheriff Steve McComas, stated that he'd seen numerous pretty disgusting things during his 26 years in the job, but nothing as shocking as hearing of Gonzalez's intimate session in full view of other inmates. Most alarmingly, the woman has shown no remorse. She continually calls and has sexually explicit conversations with the inmate in question and boasts about the crimes that she carried out. In the end, Tina Gonzalez was convicted of sexual relations that she had with an inmate and spent 7 months in prison. Now hey, if you've enjoyed our content, please feel free to explore more of our episodes by clicking here. And as always, thanks for choosing to spend your time with us today. We'll see you in our next video.